That's just what I'll do. I hope you won't ever lie to me.
Yo, what is up guys, the Mill's back with a brand new video, and we're back on some more Call of Duty World War II. In today's video, I'm not gonna waste any time. I want to talk about something that has kind of been on my mind ever since I've heard about it, and I'm sure it's been on a lot of your guys' mind as well, because it's kind of big news. I'm sure most of you guys know by now, but Call of Duty Black Ops 4 is due to drop on October 12th. A very, very highly anticipated Call of Duty. A lot of people are very excited for it, but a lot of those same people are starting to question, how is this game going to fare up against games like Fortnite, which are just juggernaut of games that are just very, very hard to top. We all know the main reasons why Fortnite is so successful. One, it's just a very, very good game, but also on top of that, they push out frequent updates, and those updates are free. The majority of the game is free. In fact, the only thing you can buy in that game with real life money are cosmetic items. When it comes to the main gameplay features in Fortnite, you can access absolutely everything for free. And so that's led a lot of people to ask, how is Call of Duty Black Ops 4 going to compete in any way, shape, or form against Fortnite? And I don't know why people have to compare games all the fucking time. I do it as well. I'm a huge hypocrite of that. I do compare games, but I don't want to see any game die. I don't want to see Fortnite die, because I think Fortnite is very, very different to Call of Duty, even though Call of Duty is trying to come out with the blackout game mode. That's besides the point. I want all games to be successful, but people are still asking, how is Call of Duty going to be able to survive this year with Fortnite and also Red Dead Redemption 2, which is just going to be an absolutely phenomenal game? People were throwing around a lot of questions, and we sort of came to the conclusion that if Call of Duty wants to survive, they have to completely change the way that they actually market this game, the way they sell this game to us, because Call of Duty is a relatively expensive game. For the average person, Call of Duty is quite a big investment. $60 just for the base game is already a lot of money, but then you also have to take into factor DLC, supply drops. There are a lot of things that actually go into a Call of Duty game that make it very, very pricey. And even if you spend just the bare minimum on the game and the DLC itself, that's still going to cost you at least $100, which is a lot of money to dish out for the average person. Like even me right now, if the game came out, I would have enough money to purchase the game, but it's still a lot of money. $100 for a video game is a lot, and that fact is just further amplified by the fact that Fortnite is a thing. The game is completely free. Each and every single part of the game to access, to play the game, is free. The only thing you can spend money on is cosmetic stuff, which puts Call of Duty in a very, very tough spot. It makes it very difficult to compete. If they want to have any sort of chance of competing against Fortnite, they have to change their model. They have to change the way that they actually sell things to us. The game needs to be cheaper, and they have to actually give DLC away for free. Or at least that is the conclusion that people in the Call of Duty community thought was going to happen. In fact, we actually got leaks that Charlie Intel managed to cover on Twitter, saying that DLC on Call of Duty Black Ops 4 is going to be free. The game is still going to cost $60, but at least the DLC was going to be free, so that everybody isn't divided up, so that the community stays on the same maps and enjoys the same content, at least if they buy the game. If you don't buy the game, well then you just simply weren't going to be playing with those players anyway, but if you bought the game, at least you had access to the same content that everybody else did, which means that the community weren't going to be divided up, because not everybody buys the DLC on Call of Duty. In fact, I would go as far as to say that the minority of people actually buy the DLC each and every single year, because again, the DLC is very, very expensive, and the average person doesn't want to dish out money for something that probably isn't even worth it in the first place, especially in 2018, where developers these days are just throwing content at us completely for free, and the only way that they charge us these days generally is through cosmetic stuff, in the same way that Fortnite is doing. So Call of Duty's way of charging for DLC is very outdated. It's very non-consumer friendly. And so with all the rumors and leaks going around saying that the DLC is going to be free for the first time in Call of Duty history, DLC is going to be free and they're going to start releasing it much more frequently, we thought this was an amazing change to Call of Duty. It's a perfect way to actually compete against Fortnite, because like it or not, Fortnite is an extremely difficult game to compete with right now. It's one of, if not the biggest game in history, and for a fact it is the biggest game currently right now. Call of Duty used to own that title, but they don't anymore, and the only way for them to actually come back is to make changes that are actually going to give them an advantage when it comes to sales of the game, when it comes to a game's popularity. So with all these rumors and leaks, we were sure that there was going to be some sort of positive change, that we were going to get free DLC, but lo and behold, Call of Duty and Activision, they basically confirmed it. They are not going to be giving away DLC for free this year, which is just absolutely mind-boggling. Yes, they are going to be changing the model slightly. They are going to make it so that DLC and extra content is given out to us much more frequently instead of the traditional every 3 months or so we get a map pack, which is a good step in the right direction, but that doesn't change the fact that better doesn't necessarily always mean good. I'm going to take a very, very honest approach with Call of Duty's sales model. Let's give it the absolute best case scenario that Call of Duty would pick. Let's say they sell Call of Duty Black Ops 4 for $40 and they decide to give us free content, free DLC, and the only thing they charge us for is cosmetic stuff. Would it be able to overtake Fortnite? No. Even in the best case scenario, Call of Duty still has absolutely no chance at beating Fortnite. There's just no way that that's going to happen. Call of Duty are just simply too expensive to actually compete against Fortnite, a game that is completely free on all levels gameplay wise. The only possible way Call of Duty can actually beat Fortnite is if every single part of the game is free and the only thing they charge us for are cosmetic things. But do you honestly see Call of Duty going that far? No, they will never in a million years give away that much free stuff because Activision are very, very money hungry. So I want you guys to take into reference this best case scenario that I've come up with in my head for them to beat Fortnite. And imagine they don't do that. And that is actually the case. They are not going to be doing that. In fact, they are going to double down and they are still going to charge us $60 for the game up front. And they are going to be charging us extra for DLC. Now, yes, they are changing their model so that they give us stuff more frequently so that it keeps the game fresh. But that doesn't change the fact that they are going to be charging us for it. They are no longer going to be selling us a season pass. But instead, they have sort of changed it so that they are going to offer us a Black Ops Battle Pass, which I don't give a fuck what you say. All they have done is just change the name. Overall, this is still the season pass. All they have done is change the name to the Battle Pass so that it tricks people into thinking that they're going to be doing something different. While yes, they are going to be doing things differently in the sense that they're going to give us content more regularly. If they just kept the season pass name, they would have done that anyway. Don't be fooled by Activision. At the end of the day, this is still the season pass. All they did was change the name. The only difference is the way they're going to be structuring. And also, one thing I want to point out really quick is that the Black Ops Pass is not going to be cheaper than the season pass. And the reason I say this is because you can still buy a Call of Duty Black Ops 4 Digital Deluxe Edition. It's confirmed, and that goes for $100. So basically, if you take $100 minus 60, which is actually the game, you're still left with $40. And normally the season pass goes for $50, but the appeal of the Digital Deluxe Edition is that it gives you $10 off. The reason they're doing this, the reason they're selling the Digital Deluxe Edition is because the Black Ops Pass, which is basically just a glorified season pass, is the same thing. So all in all, this basically just confirms that DLC is still going to be paid for in the same way it has been all the other years, even though we were led to believe with all the leaks and rumors that we were going to get free DLC this year, which would have been an absolutely amazing choice for the Call of Duty franchise. It would have really brought a lot of people back to the game because now all they would have to do is pay for the game straight up and then everybody would be playing on the same maps, the same content. But of course they didn't do that. They let greed get to their heads. Activision made a stupid decision in actually charging for this DLC. I'm extremely disappointed. I had already come to the conclusion that DLC was going to be free with all these leaks and rumors, and I was very much looking forward to this year of Call of Duty. But now a lot of that looking forward to has been squandered because they're still greedy, they're still going to be charging us, and as much as they want to mask this and say that it's something different, that the Black Ops Pass is not a season pass, overall it is the exact same thing. In fact, if you look at it, this might actually be worse than the previous DLC model. In previous DLC models, you can buy each and every single individual DLC completely separate for a specific price, $15 usually. And now the only way to access the content that other people are accessing is to pay at least $40 extra on top of the original game. And on top of that, it's actually less content because the original DLC model gave us 16 new maps throughout the entire year. 4 for every map pack, of course, including the zombies and all that stuff, but I'm not looking at that, I'm looking at multiplayer. And from what we've seen right now, the Black Ops Pass, it's going for the same price. You are forced to buy it if you want to have any any access to DLC whatsoever, and it's less maps. It's 12 maps throughout the year, it's not 16. So overall, this is actually worse. That's just extremely disappointing. I don't know what to say. I'm very, very disappointed with Activision. I know this isn't Treyarch's fault. If it was up to Treyarch, they probably would have given the maps for free, but of course Activision had to butt in. Overall, I'm just disappointed with this model. It's old, it's outdated, and it's overpriced. It really doesn't make sense that they would stick to this. Of course, except for the fact that they're a business and they want to cash out as much as possible. Activision and Call of Duty as a whole had a chance this year to completely blow it out of the park. This would have made so many people happy, and in all honesty, I feel like they would have made more money if they didn't take this route. Free DLC would have been very consumer friendly, and it would have increased player loyalty to the Call of Duty franchise, but by doing this, you are basically just sacrificing player loyalty for money, and it will bite you in the long run, Call of Duty. Yes, in the short term, you're going to make more money, but as a business, you are cashing out and you are seriously showing everybody the type of franchise that you are. We totally understand you're a business and you want to make money, but doing it in this way, it's just really cheap and it's greedy and it's going to kill this franchise. This was their opportunity. Boots on the ground, Call of Duty from Treyarch. It was seriously a chance to bring this title back to what it once was. But by charging for DLC in this way in 2018, you are just killing off this franchise slowly. This is a massive mistake, and me, along with a lot of other people in the community, are just very, very disappointed, and we don't know what to say. Overall, I'm still excited for Black Ops 4, but just not nearly as much as I was when I thought that the DLC was going to be free. But other than that, that's everything I had to cover in today's video, and I'm gonna end it off here. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much the end of the video. If you enjoyed, make sure you smack the like button. If you want to stay up to date with my content, please subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.